And you've just heard Thoughts of You, the opening track on Wake, the new album from Amy Duncan. And Wake is a collaboration between Amy and lyricist David Paton. And I'm delighted to be joined by both Amy and David now. Hello, both.
Hello, Alistair. Lovely to see you.
So the story behind Wake it's a fascinating one and a moving one. What can you tell us about it, David, if you wouldn't mind?
Well, I think we recorded it about 25 years ago. And it was, the writing started in the wake of my twin brother's suicide, which was in 1994. I was writing poetry at the time, and I'd been writing some stuff, but I wasn't sure what it was or what it was about. And so I mentioned it to Amy, and she asked me to send it over to her, which I did. And she said she might be able to make a song out of it. And a while later, she sent me back the first song. I can't remember which one it was. Thoughts of You.
Yeah.
And things just progressed from there. And here we are today.
So at the beginning, it literally was just one song, and then you gradually, how did it develop then?
I think we were going to, we were aiming for an EP, I seem to remember anyway.
4 tracks.
Four tracks, but then the songs just kept coming out, so then turned into an album.
And as well as yourself, Amy, who else plays on it? Because the music is just fantastic.
Oh, it's beautiful. So Jean-David Kyle, I think that's how you say his name. I've not seen him for a long time. But he plays mandolin and lap steel. Guy Nicholson, who I've worked with on loads of stuff, he plays percussion. Mark O'Keefe is playing flugelhorn. Oh, and Emily Scott does some lovely, it's very sparse, minimal backing vocals on the last track.
Oh, fantastic. I've been listening to Emily's new album as well. It's very good. So David, this was going to be an EP and then it became a full album, but it wasn't released at the time. Why was that?
I don't think we consciously decided not to release it. It just kind of dragged on a little bit, and Amy and I discussed it every now and again over the years. And we said basically that we'd wait till the time was right to release it, and it just seemed like now was the right time to go ahead and release it.
Yes.
So it is exactly as it was recorded 25 years ago. So what's it like for both of you to kind of return to the songs, if you like?
It's quite strange for me because I feel like I've changed a lot as a vocalist, but I think that's partly to do with the emotion behind the songs, and it's kind of strange to return to it, but really good.
And for yourself, David, I mean, these are obviously very personal songs. What's it like to kind of revisit them again after these years?
Oh, it's still interesting for me. I was never sure when I sent the words to Amy what she was going to come back with. So I was always pleasantly surprised that she'd managed to make a song out of my lyrics. And I still feel that today when I'm listening to them. It's remarkable what Amy's done with the words.
I mean, I'm guessing you couldn't have imagined that they would be treated in such a kind of musical way, perhaps. Just we've heard other people that are playing on it. Amy plays on it. The production is amazing. I mean, it's I would imagine you couldn't have thought any better that they would be treated this way.
No, it's been a very rewarding experience for me. The way that I write is kind of different from normal songs. I don't write a verse, a chorus, a verse, a chorus, a middle eight, a verse and a fade out. I just use the words that I need to use to say what I want to say. And so rather than changing the words to suit a conventional song pattern, Amy basically just sang the words as they were written down. And that's why they sound a little bit unusual as song structures. I was amazed at the time, and I really do take my hat off to Amy. She's done a great job.
What was it like, Amy, in terms of adapting's the wrong word, isn't it? Interpreting the lyrics that David had written?
Well, we're actually working on a lot of new songs now. I can't really remember what it was like at the time. I guess
that's true. I mean, you know, that's very true.
I remember it happening very quickly though. Like I just kind of, just come up with a musical idea. But David's words are so well written and rhythmical. It's actually quite easy for me anyway. It feels easy to put them to music because I don't know, because of the rhythm.
David, you mentioned that you wrote poetry. Were these always going to be songs, or were they originally kind of poetic pieces?
They were originally poetic pieces. It wasn't until Amy sent back the first song that I realised that they might actually be songs. And from then on, I wrote less and less poetry and more in the song kind of style of writing. But when I started writing, I had no idea that they would eventually turn into completed songs. And
you're going to be launching this, the album having a launch on the same date it's being released, is that right? The 25th of October?
Yeah, so we're playing at the Glad Cafe on the 25th of October on Friday. My pal Graham Miller is playing some beautiful atmospheric kind of accompaniment with me. So it's just the two of us, and he plays electric guitar and sort of synth and things like that. That's beautiful musician. Can't wait for that. There's going to be a support as well, yet to be announced.
Oh, fantastic. It's a great venue. It's one of my favourite venues. Yes. I can't wait to hear these songs there. You know, I think it'll be really very special indeed. And David, Amy mentioned that you're working together again at the moment. Is that something that you've continued to do over the years, collaborate together?
Every now and again, yes. There's the original songs from Wake, and there's the songs that we're working on at the moment. I think we've got about nine new songs at the moment. And over the years, we've worked on maybe one or two ideas here and there.
Oh, we released another album, didn't we? We released Potential Space in 2010. So that was some of my lyrics were in there, weren't they? But it was mostly your writing. But yes, that was another thing we released. We've not released anything else, have we? No, never.
It just struck me, David, do you play music yourself?
No, I'm not musical at all.
So it's interesting then to give your lyrics up to a musician. That's quite a kind of interest, particularly in terms of Wake, ones that are so personal. Is that? Yeah, I guess there has to be a lot of trust in that relationship.
Yes, but Amy's very sympathetic to the words, and she knew my brother, so it wasn't really difficult at all to hand the lyrics over to Amy. I wasn't really thinking in those terms at the time, because I'm not trained as a writer in any way, so I didn't really have any confidence in what I was writing. And it was only when the first song came back from Amy that I started to think, maybe there's something in what I'm writing here.
And that must have been a kind of special moment to hear that not just that there's this one song, if there was nothing else, that would be amazing, but that this could have a future as well.
Yeah, it was an amazing feeling. I would never have thought that I'd be sitting here talking to you like this today. I'm not very good in the limelight, if this counts as being in the limelight. So yeah, it's been a surprise, a pleasant surprise. I'm just delighted with what Amy's done with the words.
And Amy, you mentioned that, you know, you're working on new stuff, which you're going to play some of at the Glad Cafe, but you're also going to play some of the songs on Wake. And what's it been like going back to them today? You know, they were recorded all that time ago, but I guess you've had to practice them. Maybe not, I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm going to do a few songs, like 3 songs from Wake. I did try quite a few of the songs, and I think I just couldn't quite get there in terms of, you know, I think I just feel like they exist on the album, and it doesn't feel right to kind of bring them into this time. I think I listened to the test pressing, and it just feels it sounds so lovely on vinyl. That's how I wanted to hear the songs. I did consider doing a listening night, but then I just kind of figured, oh, people will buy the record and listen to it.
Absolutely. And, you know, we're going to play another track in a moment. And I think in weeks to come, I imagine I'll maybe play a couple more as well, because, you know, they just really do deserve to be heard. It's such a beautiful record. And it's a beautiful record in another way. David, maybe you could talk a little bit about the cover.
Yes, that was my brother Ian who drew that. He went to Glasgow School of Art. I think this was drawn when he was a young boy, long before he went to art school. He was naturally very, very, very talented as an artist, but somehow he lost his confidence at the art school. But this is one of the few pictures that I still have of his. And it was actually only quite recently that we decided that we were going to use that picture for the album cover. It's been hanging on my wall for years. And yeah, so that's how the cover came about.
So these songs are going to be, you know, I've been listening to the album over the weekend and really getting to love them. Other people, have you had feedback from people yet who have listened to the album, perhaps over the years or just maybe recently?
Well, I sat and listened to the test pressing with my sister and her wife, and they were just really blown away by it. They were, you know, really, really loved it. But I don't think, apart from that, we played it to anyone yet. No. Really, no, it's yet to be heard.
Yet to be heard. Well, people are in for an absolute treat. I think it's a really, really special collection of songs. So I wish you all the best with it, and all the best, not just when it comes out on the 25th, but for the launch at the Glad Cafe as well. I'm going to try my best to come along and be there.
Yeah.
David, Amy, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
And from Wake, this is I Wait for Grace.